Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where we bring you the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to find anywhere on the planet. You're going to get it right here. Compliments of your friends at Elite Realty Group. I'm Mike Elkins with Elite Realty Group. Got my partner in crime, Mr. Dave Elkins, also with Elite Realty Group. Yeah. And today we are going to be talking about, did you receive the property tax bill in the mail just a couple days, especially if you're in Hamblen County, Tennessee? Did your taxes just skyrocket? We're going to be talking today about information every landowner, homeowner in the Hamblen County area, some information that you need to know and you need to be aware of, because things are not always as they seem, but sometimes they are. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. This is, again, we want to say this podcast goes out across the world, but man, we are specifically diving deep to our area here today because it has been the news.
Yeah.
It has been everywhere. This is all you see in our area right now is we just got our tax bill yesterday, and it is put some people in pure shock.
Yeah, I think shock is the right word.
Yeah.
That was literally what you'd say, shock and awe. You know, I mean, that 100% happened. Again, I think it was Monday. It was Monday, wasn't it? Or Monday or Tuesday, one. All of those went out. Everybody started.
I always check my mail late. I got mine yesterday.
It went out. So there was a little bit of shock and awe. I've seen a lot of social media content about this as far as what in the world's going on. We're going to dive into some of that today. Now, not that we are certified tax pros, nor are we in any official government capacity. Right. We're just talking to you as regular old people today.
But we are realtors.
I'm going to say,
we can give you realtors' perspective of what this means.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. I've seen people that have, threw it out there. Mine doubled, mine tripled. Some of them went up just massively. And then I've heard some people's like, didn't change the thing.
Mine didn't change it all.
Didn't anything happen whatsoever. And so there's a lot that's involved in this. There's a lot that goes into it. Again, I want to stress, we are not operating in any official capacity today. We're just going to talk to you and give you some information. After all, this is episode 351 of our live show. And we always say we want to provide you the most relevant, up-to-date information we can give you so you can stay informed. That's why we've been able to do this now for a long, long time. This is 7 years. We've been able to go live, been able to do these podcasts. Again, as you said, it literally goes out across the world, but we're literally hyper-local today.
Yeah.
We are talking about all of this information. And
this is happening worldwide. I mean, like across the country too. So. Sure. But again, so this will, if it's not affected you yet, it will. It's coming. Yes. Don't worry about it. It's coming your way.
There's no doubt. Too. Yeah. And, a lot of people, again, they're shocked by what they got in their mailboxes, and rightfully so.
So question, have you got yours yet?
Yeah. We've got a comment going on here. Brenda says, mine tripled. Wow. Jan says, absolutely it did. And I'm assuming that's go up. And, the majority of people, they went up. They went up.
Mine went up a couple hundred, but right at $200,000.
Yeah, that's going up. Yeah. That's what we call that is going up. Here's what we're going to talk about today on this episode, and I think it's going to be a good one. We hope you watch it through to the end, because we're going to tell you, kind of what happened, like where did this come from, right. What's going down. We're going to kind of break down that new assessment for you. We're going to also talk to you about the value, like literally where'd that come from? What is this assessed value? Mm-hmm. Because we've already got calls. Like we have already received calls into the office. I just got my new assessed. Now remember, that's an assessment value.
Yeah.
If this is what my house is worth, I'm ready to sell it.
Right.
We're going to talk about that today with you, okay? We're also going to talk about, this is a big one. You're going to want to hear this today. What you need to do if you think that value is wrong, okay? So you got it and you're like, there's no way that this is the value of my house. We're going to talk to you about what you can do if you think it's wrong. And then finally, we're going to talk to you about what this means in the real estate world, the impact to buyers and sellers, and even maybe yourself as far as future planning. So as always, like the video, share, comment, invite people to come and do it. This will be some good information that I promise you that you will be able to use. So let's first dive into, my friend, literally what just happened. Okay, because that's what we've got. Like, where did this come from? What made this happen? Okay,
so people blindsided.
We're specifically talking about Hamblen County. Now, I saw some reports, Jefferson County, which is our neighboring county here in East Tennessee. This happened to them last year, and after that, I kind of started thinking about it. Like, I remember the explosion that happened there also. So they tell me, now remember, we're not the pros here. This is just information that we got. But kind of every 5 to 10 years, okay, property values are reassessed, okay? Now, let's stop just for a moment and look back for a minute, because I think this will be an interesting place for us to start our conversation today. Think about what's happened in the real estate world in our area in the last 5 years. Okay.
It's no secret.
Home values have went through the roof. Now, before people start throwing rocks at us, I promise you, we don't set home prices. Okay. No. The market does.
Right.
But just think about for a moment what's happened to home values in this area in the last 5 years. They have went up substantially.
Yes.
Okay. Ain't nothing we can do about that. That's just what has happened. So most homes in the area have not been reassessed, okay, by the proper government authority. Let's put that out there in those last 5 years. So here we are 5 years later, and here comes the assessments. Okay, they're literally coming out of nowhere. Okay, so they basically, how this works is they do what we're going to call a drive-by. Okay, like you all know, they ain't nobody been in your house. Ain't nobody knocked on the door, said, I want to come in and look around. That was not done. They're just reassessed. Okay, a lot of times this is done literally, y'all, and the drive-arounds are basically just like, since the last time we've assessed this property, have there been any additional buildings put on the property? Have they added on, made additions? Has anything like that happened? That's kind of what the drive-by does. The assessment is almost like what you'd call this Zillow, Zestimate kind of thing. It's more computer generated than it is basically a person that this is done for. Okay, it's just reassessed. Now let's stop again. We're having conversations here. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay. We're just having conversations.
This is not us, man. This is not us doing this.
When it comes to taxes and the assessed value of your home, do you think that value, because that's what you're paying taxes on, is that assessed value? But would you think they're going to assess it high, or would you think they're going to assess it low?
Remember, we're paying taxes.
We're paying taxes.
Yes.
What's your thoughts, my man?
Obviously, I mean, again, I don't want to offend my political friends.
Sure.
But obviously, they are going to want you to pay taxes on the highest amount that you can possibly pay them on.
Absolutely.
I mean, that makes sense for the county.
Sure. There's no doubt about it. So,
I'm sorry to say that.
It's probably going to come in a little high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably going to come in a little bit high. This assessment, I think most of you will agree with us. You agree with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? You resemble that remark because yours has came in at that high. Now, here's what I really want to dive into, though. I think let's get to that. Your property values have been reassessed. They've went up. Okay, we're all on the same page there. But does that mean the actual taxes that you pay on that value are going to also go up that much? Okay, that's where I want to spend some time today. Now, look, you got a couple different components here. Okay, you have the assessed value of your property, your home. Okay, that's the big value you just got in the mail. Okay, the total value of that is not what you pay taxes on. Okay.
Right.
There was an interesting article come out today in the Citizen Tribune, which kind of gives a little bit more clarity as far as it goes to this.
This is hot off the press.
This is hot straight off the press. Literally came off again. Drew Robinson, shout out to Drew, Citizen Tribune staff writer, put this out today. And what we're going to be looking for that is going to be coming to us, and it's told in this article it's going to be coming sometime in June, is we are going to be looking at a certified tax rate, okay? Because what happens is you've got your assessed value, and then the assessor's office takes 25%. I'm getting in math here. I'm going to lose a lot of people. Yep, they take 25% of that value, and then they apply a formula to it, okay? Our current formula for Hamblen County is 1.97, okay? So they take those values, they put this formula to it, and then the set amount of taxes that you pay is given back by using that formula, okay? What the anticipation is, and according to this article, the 25% of the value, the 1.97, that sets the amount of dollars you pay in taxes, okay? Now, the anticipation is that 1.97 formula value, wherever this comes from, okay, the certified tax rate is going to go down,
right?
Okay, but because your property values have been assessed so high, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah,
it's probably still going to mean that your taxes are going to rise.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like I'm gonna go speak in my language so that people like me can understand what you just said.
Sure,
your taxes just went up. Okay,
right.
Like your
no
assessed value of your house, as we all know, just went up. Okay,
right.
So you're going to pay more in taxes.
Sure.
End of the day, that's the story. It's not though. A lot of people are looking at it and be like, "I just doubled and tripled," and they automatically think that that's what's going to happen as what they have to pay. That's what I want people to hear. You're going to pay more, but it's probably not going to be as detrimental as what you're thinking right now at this point.
Exactly.
Okay. You are going to have to pay more because your value went up. But if this rate drops,
sure, like
they're saying that we're going to get. Now, again, you said 1.97 is Hamblen County. John this morning told us like Sullivan County,
like 1 point.
We're compared to a lot, is 1.4.
Sure.
So there's a formula there that you can figure out what that's going to make yours. But again, not knowing anything about anything math related, your value went up, the tax rate's coming down, you are going to have to pay more, but it's not going to be as bad as probably what you're thinking.
Yeah, a lot of people have looked at it again and said my value tripled, so my taxes just tripled.
Right.
Not necessarily that's what's going to happen. Do we know that rate? Absolutely not, according to this article.
We were waiting just like
again, the certified tax rate will officially be zeroed in on by the state sometime in June.
Yeah, I hope they put it 2025.
That's kind of what we're going to be waiting on to see literally what is that dollar value that you're going to have to pay.
Right.
Right now, you've just been reassessed and you've got this new value.
Right.
Now, because it did go up, I don't see the rate going down that much that it don't make your taxes go up.
No, it's
going to go up.
That's possible.
It's going to go up.
Yeah.
But the what everybody has got right now is the assessed value of the property. That doesn't mean that tax value is going to go up that way. So that's literally what just happened.
Right.
We're still in a holding pattern and a wait and see pattern to look at this and say, what is the dollar figure going to be? That's when it boils back down to it. I think that's what we're all looking for.
Matters, yeah.
Okay. The assessed value does play a role because it's part of all that formula that I told you about earlier. But that certified tax rate is going to tell us the story.
Right.
Okay. It's going to tell us the story.
Right.
I fully anticipate you can get the opinion from old Mike's mouth right here. I think that 1.97 rate will definitely drop down. The $1 million question is how much will that certified rate drop down? The important thing you don't need to know is this didn't just happen to you, okay? Yes. Our phone honestly been ringing a lot here. Yes. Like, what happened? You know, did this just happen to me? No, this happened in the entire county. In Hamblen County, this literally happened. Rising home values, higher assessments, That means higher taxes. There's just a lot of noise going on and why it happened. It's not directly related to any event going on.
No, it happens
It's
in
just
every
this
county
time
in the world.
Like it's just the time. It's time for home values to be reassessed. I'm just going to tell you, it's terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't want taxes.
I'm not
to
a
go
fan
up.
of it at all.
No,
I'm not a fan of it at all. But it's like I said, I don't want. I know that we get in trouble here. I know there's a lot of
yeah. I tried to stay away from what you're getting ready to
noise
say.
That's being
Yes.
said on social media that it has to do with certain things, and I'm not a component of either or. So don't misconstrue my words here, but it's just that this happens again. This is
time.
It's time.
It's
Every
time.
county in the world does this, so it was just our time, and
Sure.
that's all you can say about it. End of the day, I'm not happy about it either. I mean, nobody wants to pay taxes. Let's just be real. So nobody wants to do it. It's a pain. It sucks, but that's life.
Yes.
End of the day, that's life, and everything. We said this forever. But everything that is going up, and unfortunately there's nothing that we can do to stop that.
I made the statement yesterday morning in our meeting as we were talking about this again as a group here at Elite Realty Group. I despise taxes, just in all the way around. I could really run a rabbit here and go a lot of different places, but I do think this is what I do think, man. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on one rabbit. Let's run one.
Okay.
I think one of the best ideas that I've ever heard. Okay, and I might get in trouble for this, but I may not. Is after you reach a certain age, the number's been through out there at 65.
100%.
You shouldn't have to do this garbage.
This should not even.
I'm 1,000% on board with that. Okay, I'm 1,000% on board. You know, when you get to a certain place in life, you know what I mean? You've worked your butt off. You've paid in a lot of money to a lot of different government programs and all that goes along with that. That place that you've worked your butt off and you call home, it ought to be 100% yours. Mm-hmm. Sign me up for that. You know what I mean?
I feel that there is a campaign brewing for Mike and Dave Elkins 2028.
I would love it
because I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna one up you.
Go ahead.
I'm saying this will give people incentives to pay your house off.
I agree.
When your house is paid off, I don't care if you're 32.
Sure.
When your house is paid off,
it ought to be yours.
That property is yours.
It should be yours.
I ain't gonna have to pay taxes on that.
I mean, I'm with you.
That's mine. I don't care. Again, saying this is going to hurt my business, but this is true. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a realtor. I sell houses.
Yeah.
But give people an incentive to pay their house off.
Yes.
Right now, people move every 5 to 7 years. So give me an incentive to stay there for 30 years. Give me an incentive to get that thing paid off. Mortgage and pay that thing off quick. Give me the incentive that I don't have to pay taxes on it no more.
Sure.
You might start seeing more people pay their houses off.
Right. Yeah, sure. I'm 100% on board
Elkins
with that.
28. So I know
that's why I say I think we ought to run. I think we ought to do it. I think that's a really good thing. That I mean, I think at that point in time, you have to say, man, that's earned. You know what I mean? Like that's earned.
It is.
And so I think that's a really, really good thing that ought to really be looked at. So that's
I'm going to dive into what we know now. Okay, I mean, we've put out some fires that we.
I was going to say that's what just happened.
That's what just happened.
Yeah,
but let's get to where we can speak more specifically to people, and so I'm going to talk about the difference in your assessed value versus the market value.
Yes, okay? This is those phone calls we're getting. I'll sell my house for that.
This is the phone calls. Yes. So just like I've been telling people, like, yes, your taxes just went up. Now people saying, so does that mean that's what my house is worth now? No, it don't. Okay, that's the short version. It don't. Just like 3 days ago, that didn't mean that's what your house is worth, right? Okay, so it's probably more closer. It's probably a lot closer now than what it might be. But again, I mean, there's people that's been paying extremely low because we haven't been assessed in a while.
It's been a while,
and the way property has went up, values went up. That they've been way off. So we didn't, as realtors, we did not use the tax assessed value to tell you what the value of your home is.
No.
Okay. So we didn't use that 2 or 3 days ago. We're not using that now either.
No.
Okay. So we still got to do real numbers to see what real stuff is selling for in your specific area. So what we've been doing, and I think you're going to jump on this maybe here in a minute, but it's a good thing to know because there is ways that you can appeal this.
Yes.
So we would be glad to do a real market analysis for you to tell you what your house is worth. But again, there's a big difference. You said a minute ago, even about this was kind of like a drive-through. Some of it was automatically generated numbers. So if you really want to know your home's value, we ain't going to charge you nothing, and it may in turn around to help you if you decide that you want to appeal this.
Yes,
okay? That's what I want you to hear.
That's what let's go there, because that's the third thing we need to talk about. So we've talked to you about what just happened. Your house got reassessed. That's literally what happened. We're waiting on this certified tax rate.
Right.
Okay, that's going to tell the real story in dollars to us.
Right.
We're waiting on that coming in June. What do you do if you don't agree? Okay, there's a lot of you sitting out there, you don't agree. Okay, there is an appeals process. Okay, like you can go to the tax office, to the tax assessor's office, right here in Hamblen County, and you can appeal that there is no way that this is what my home, my property should be assessed at. Now, let me just go ahead and tell you, if this is something that you're going to do, they may really get us here at the tax assessor's office, but you could do this. They put it in a newspaper today. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm not the only person.
They're encouraging.
I'm not the only person.
Feel that this is what you do.
You can appeal it, but if you're going to go appeal, you need to go what I'm going to call the West Virginia slang term coming out here. You need to go loaded for bear. Okay, you need to go with why you are saying what you're saying. Okay. What we do when we look at home values, again, the assessed value and the market value of your house is two totally different things. Right. Does not mean if you go appeal that you're going to win the appeal. Right. But you go through the formal appeals process. They will help you do that. But you need to go with your proof, okay?
You got to have proof.
You got to have your proof, and you don't just need to go in and scream and yell and holler and all that stuff at people. Look, the person sitting in that office, they don't go mad at those people. Okay. Right. The state of Tennessee requires, like literally, again, this is in the article. The state law requires local governments to re-examine properties and tax rates. That's something they ain't got no way around it. So don't go yelling at our people here. Okay. Right. But you need to go in with written proof. Okay. Go show them numbers. Right. Of like, look, man, this is what my home should be assessed at. And then they will walk you through what goes on from there. Right. The good news is you can appeal. Okay. Right. You can appeal that value. You ask me how successful is those appeals. Again, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not the person who appeals.
This is me guessing, speculating. This is just me speculating. If you bought your house 5 years ago, or if you've been I guess I'm going to say if you've been in your house for a while, and your value went up, this is me guessing, you're probably going to have a hard time winning that appeal, because we know how much property values, actual home values, have went up. Right. Now, if you bought your house 2 months ago and your property value went up $400,000, you might stand a good chance of winning that.
True story.
Just me guessing, because that should be closer. What you paid for your house is probably closer to what it's actually worth. Now, again, we go back and said this, or we said this a minute ago. I want to touch on this again, and we're I don't want the tax people. We're defending them. But I'm gonna say this too.
No, not at all. Because I don't
want you to pay higher taxes. Though.
It's cool.
I just want to make sure you understand that. Now, that's what they want. So
probably gonna be a little high.
We got to. At some point in time, there's going to be a realistic number here. So again, if you bought your house more recent and your house and your assessed value just went crazy, you might probably stand a better chance of winning that appeal than someone who's been in their house for a while.
Right.
Because that value would be lower. You know what I mean? Like, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, my house probably should have went up. You know what I mean? And people who's lived in their house for 10 years, their value probably should have went up, because you've been in your house a while.
Yeah, and I think the argument is what it went up. You
Right.
made a really good point, and let me just remind our listeners, our viewers, of something. If you've bought your house, it's any time, but I'm going to speak specifically if you bought it in the last 1 year, especially. But I think I can go 2 years. I think 3 years may be pushing it.
Right.
But probably if you've lived in your house for less than 2 years, and you got a mortgage on it, let me remind you of what you did and what you had when you got that mortgage. Your home was appraised.
Right.
So now the less time you've lived in it, the more realistic that appraisal is going to be.
Right.
But you should have received a copy of that appraisal. And so when we say you're going in with proof of why you're saying your house should not be assessed at this value,
right.
If you don't have that, call the people who helped you get that money. Somebody's got that appraisal.
Yeah.
Okay. And you should have that on file. You should have a copy of that.
Yeah.
Now, remember, the less time you've been in your home, the more true that appraisal is going to be. You again, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, and in the last year or two, there ain't nothing around here went up like that.
Well, again, like I said, we a person in our office just helped somebody just yesterday or the day before when they have bought their house in the past year.
Yes.
And their assessed value went up $300,000.
Correct.
So
no, it didn't. Not in real life.
Right. It didn't. Yeah.
No.
So it did on paper. But so again, that's what we're saying. Like if you need information,
sure.
If you want to go down there with the best possible chance maybe of winning your appeal, well, we might get really busy here, but that's okay. We'd be glad to look at it and try to give you a real market value of what. Now, again, I'm not going to say that their assessed value is not going to be higher than our market value because they want that tax money.
Sure.
But we would be glad to give you whatever information that we can. Don't cost you anything. We'd be glad to help you. If you decide you want to appeal this and you need help, we'd be glad to help.
Yeah.
So reach out to us. We'd be glad to do that.
No doubt about it. And some homes are going to be easier for us to grab that number for you than others.
Yeah.
The more unique your house is, the harder it's going to be for us to grab you that number.
Right.
But that's what we're here for. We're here to serve you. So, but the good news is, again, you can totally 100% appeal this.
And from what we understand, like they are expecting appeals because they've hired people to just come in and monitor this side of it.
I gotta continue to remind us, and we're all civil people here. We're all good. Okay. Don't go down there and yell at those people, man. They can't. They would try to help you, so don't go try to do any of those.
Because realistically, I probably shouldn't say this either, but I'm going to say it.
Well, you're all right.
But realistically, most of those people live in Hamblen County too. No doubt. Their taxes just went up too.
It happened to them too. So let's finish up by talking about, okay, we've learned what now? We've learned your assessed value does not mean, for those of you calling and saying, sell my house for this value. Well, we can't. Okay. Right. That they're not the same thing. Third, we've told you what you can do if you think it's wrong. Okay. You can appeal. They will help you through the process. If we can help you, let us know. But what's this mean for everybody going forward? Yeah. Okay. Especially real estate related. That's what we can kind of speak expertise to. Yeah. Buyers, if you're buying a home, it's probably going to mean the taxes are going to be a little bit more on the home you're buying. Okay. Right. Now, if you own a home and you got a mortgage on the home, there's a really good chance that your taxes are escrowed into your payment.
So your payment's going to go
So your payment could potentially be rising some because of that assessed value. That'll all be communicated with you, told to you by your mortgage servicer.
And I say, remember this too. Remember this. Your mortgage that you have, if you have a fixed rate mortgage with your mortgage company, your actual principal payment is not what's going up.
No.
If you got your taxes and insurance escrowed, that taxes and insurance is what can affect your payment. So if your payment goes up, there's a good chance that it's because of your taxes.
Sure.
Okay. Now, we're going to touch on this briefly, and then we'll move on. Okay, because this is a whole other can of worms.
I like it. I like worms.
But homeowners insurance,
Mm-hmm.
okay? We have told people this for years because of the boom that we've come through. You better make sure that your home is properly insured.
Great info.
I'm giving a sales pitch for insurance people right now. All my insurance buddies, you better be thanking me.
Shout us out.
But this is true. Like I have said this before this ever happened. And we have been, as the office, we have been promoting these annual home valuation things.
Yes, we've been talking. We set 15 appointments 2 weeks ago to go help people do this.
Because this is important. You know what I mean? Again, if you are paying homeowners insurance from 2020, your value has went up.
Yeah.
So God forbid something happens to your house, a fire or whatever, and you need the money to rebuild. If you're not properly insured, you're in bad shape.
Absolutely.
Okay? So again, this could in turn turn around and affect your homeowner's insurance to where you might really need to seriously think about upping your value now.
Yes.
Okay. Because we got to make sure that if something happens, we're covered.
Absolutely.
I'm going back again, and we're talking about the two biggest scams in the world, in my opinion. I just want to say that out loud because I don't want people to think I'm a component of. I'm
not a bit, man.
I hate taxes. I hate insurance. They're the biggest scams, and I'm sorry.
Okay,
sorry, but it's true. I mean, we all know this. We pay this stuff, and a lot of times we never see anything from any of it. But it's what we have to do. Okay, I mean, I hate it too. I have to do it too. You guys have to do it. I have to do it. But it's important.
Sure.
Okay, so make sure that your homeowner's insurance is going to have you covered.
You're up to date.
I'm done.
You're up to date on that. Again, you gave a plug. We do for clients, for people who need this information. They're called annual homeowner reviews. Okay. Yeah. And basically what we do is we're talking about values today. We provide you with information that allows you to kind of see this for yourself. Right. That way you can look at it and say, hey, because I mean, you hit the nail on the head. If you've been in your home for a while and you've not updated your insurance, you are probably severely underinsured. And that's not a good place to be. No. God forbid something does happen. Okay. Right. So back to what we were talking about, there is a potential event happening, especially if your taxes change. Again, we're waiting on that certified tax rate to see how much we need to flip out. Right. There's a potential that your payment's going to raise. If you're selling a house, that does not mean your value literally is now what that assessment value is. Right. Okay, that's what you need to know about that. Right. The final
and the raise in it is not going to make people think, "Oh, I'm not going to come buy a house." You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Buyers are looking at the big picture.
Oh yeah,
they
it's
still
across
need
the board.
The house or whatever.
Yes.
So it's not going to affect people to where they're thinking, "Well, might as well take my house off the market."
Correct.
Nobody's going to come buy this now.
Correct. No, yeah, because that does not really. That's not an apples and apples comparison there. Right. Okay. The final thing that we want to tell you is if we can help you in any way with concerns, maybe you're that person listening to this and you're like, man, there's no way I need to really go in for an appeal and try this. If we can help you by providing you any information that we potentially have for your house that would potentially help you, your property, your house, whatever it is, we'd be glad to do that for you. Yep. And last but not least, if you heard us talk about just a moment ago, the annual homeowner review, that's something you need to look at, because in that annual homeowner review, not only do we help you about looking at your home as far as your insurance purposes and all those things, we've been able to also provide people with data and information. You talk about bills going up. We've been able to show people how the equity that they have got in their home is actually a way that they've made their bills go down. Right. Now, let's talk about that, okay? We do this all for you, 100% free of charge. It's a sit-down conversation with you in your home. We'll come to you, and we provide all this data and information for you and give you some really, really good information. Been able to help a lot of people lately by doing this. Again, just a service from your friends here at Elite Realty Group. So hopefully we've gave you information today about this skyrocketing, what we're going to call, assessment that's happened. We're still waiting on that official certified tax rate.
We're relatively a small town, and
yes,
this has been the news.
Shaking.
I tell you,
shaking.
It has been something.
Absolutely.
Really
Absolutely. So again, we hope you've enjoyed the information. Hopefully, if it's been beneficial to you, do us a favor and share this out with some people. Let them be able to get the information too. Again, we're not tax assessors. We're not tax pros. We're just sitting here giving you some information. Okay. Yep. We're just passing along. We're the source of the source here. Yeah. Again, giving you information of things that we know. Hopefully it's been good to you. We certainly appreciate you tuning in, hanging out with us, taking time out of your schedule. Whatever platform you are listening or watching us on, make sure you like and subscribe as these new episodes come out every Wednesday for your viewing and listening pleasure. For my friend, my partner in crime, Mr. Dave Elkins, I'm Mike 28. Elkins. Yes, that's right. We are going 2028. Let's do it. We're going to give the push. Somebody start that right now on social media. Give us the hashtag Elkins 2028. We'll see what we can do with that, man.
As well.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Be blessed. Be safe. Until the next time, you guys have a great day. We will see you on the flip side. Over